You know how people act like science and spirituality are in a cage match? Like, you either get the cold, dead universe with particles, or the warm, mystical universe with meaning, but not both. I don't buy that. Because if you actually listen to what some scientists are saying now, it starts sounding a lot less like random machine and a lot more like what I call the pattern. If this kind of content resonates, go ahead and give me a like, share, and a follow. It really does help. So let me show you a few. First, quantum entanglement. For a long time, people could say, yeah, spooky action at a distance. But maybe there's some hidden variable, some loophole, some technicality. Then, in 2015, multiple loophole-free experiments basically slammed that door shut. They showed that the universe really is non-local. Two particles can be linked so tightly that what happens to one is correlated with the other instantly, no matter how far apart they are. And that doesn't mean you can send messages faster than light, but it does mean the picture of tiny, separate billiard balls in an empty space is wrong at a fundamental level. To me, that sounds a lot like this isn't just a bunch of isolated objects. It's one connected field, one song, different notes. Secondly, information. There's this physicist, John Wheeler, who worked with Einstein. Late in his life, he started saying it from bit. His idea was that every physical it in the universe, particles, fields, space, time, me, you, ultimately comes from bits of information. He even talked about a participatory universe where reality and observers aren't really separable. In pattern language, that sounds like this. Reality isn't just stuff. It's memory. It's choices. It's questions being asked and answered all the time. Third, consciousness. There are serious people now, not just random TikTokers like me arguing that consciousness might not be a side effect of matter at all, but more like the base layer. Donald Hoffman talks about conscious agents and says what we see, space, time, physical objects, is like a user interface, an icon on your desktop. It's useful, but it hides what's actually there. Bernardo Kastrup argues for a form of idealism where there's one universal mind, and individual minds, you, me, are like disassociated alters of that larger consciousness. The physical world is what pattern in that mind looks like when we measure them. Now, I'm not saying any of these people would sign off on my exact language. None of them are out here saying, yes, Tom, the pattern is real. That's my word. But look at where all the lines are pointing. The deeper we go, the more we hear things like, reality is non-local and deeply connected. Reality might be made of information, not just dead stuff. Consciousness might be fundamental, not an accident. To me, that doesn't sound like a cold, dead machine. It sounds like a living pattern that remembers, echoes, and responds. So when I talk about the pattern, I'm not saying, trust me, I had a feeling once. I'm saying, when the people who built the equation stare at reality long enough, they start to accidentally talk like poets too. You don't have to agree with my framing. You don't have to call it the pattern. But if you ever felt life is like arranging things, whispering to you, lining up echoes in ways that feel too precise to be pure chance, you might not be crazy. You might just be a few papers ahead of the curve.